You have a night of drinking, you wake up with a hangover. A huge headache, and you think, oh my God, why did I do that? That same source of pleasure is now a source of pain. But when you come on the path of Islam, Allah is saying, look, my pleasure for you is khalidun. It's forever and ever. If you think for a moment that the pleasure of this world lasts 5 minutes, come to the akhirat. Come to the akhirat. Come to the hereafter and know that every pleasure that you see in this world has no comparison to that of the hereafter. So we have to understand, we have to accept the fact that shaitan only daggers in front of us this idea of instant gratification. You don't do it in any other part of your life. When it comes to your deen for some reason, you do it. Those of you guys who are entrepreneurs in the audience, you have your own business. If you've been in the business long enough, inshallah, you're profitable. But the first year of business, as we all know, the rule of business is what? That you take whatever you make and you put it back in the business. That for the first 2, 3, 4, 5 years of establishing your own business in this society, you have to suffer a little bit. Why can't you take that money and run? Buy a bigger house. Buy a nicer car. Because you know that 10 years from now, the business may not be there. In school we do it. In our upbringing of children we do it. In our education we do it. In our business we do it. But when it comes to shaitan, for some reason shaitan has such a grip over us that a little bit of pleasure of 5 minutes, 10 seconds, half an hour, a couple of hours is enough for us to come off the path of Allah. I'm asking you to build that willpower and convince yourself that my investment also includes an investment in the akhirat, and my sacrifice also includes a sacrifice of this instant pleasure, so that the akhirat, there's pleasure upon pleasure waiting for me, inshallah. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. That's one point about willpower that I want to make to all of you, that hopefully, inshallah, you guys all understood. There are steps now in building willpower inside of us. We're trying to build willpower. Why? To fight shaitan, to fight our nafs, and to fight our mindset that we've determined yesterday and now today that these are our 3 main enemies when we're trying to establish an Islamic lifestyle in the West. The first factor in willpower, they say in ahadith and psychology, is be realistic. I had a sister come to me in a different community, not here, don't worry, and say, Asad Bhai, I love music. Specifically, I love Indian music. I have to drive with it, I have to cook with it, I have to study with it, I can't go to bed without it. I know it's wrong. I can't stop myself. But I want to stop myself. What do? I asked her, I said, look, in your car, do you have all the latest and greatest CDs? She said, yes. I said, do you have an MP3 player? She said, yes. I said, are they full with Indian songs? She said, yes. I said, do you have a laptop? She said, yes. Are there MP3 files on there? Yes, there are. I said, you have all this around you and you expect to somehow stop listening to music? I said, the first step you have to do is take those CDs and burn them. The next step is to give away your MP3 player. And the third step is to completely delete your MP3 files. Then come to me and talk to me about this idea of I don't want to listen to music. Be realistic. You want to quit smoking and you're buying a pack a day. What kind of strategy is that? That, oh, once in a while when I'm in the mood, I'll light up. That's not quitting. The first thing you have to do is anything in life is be realistic. If you want to develop willpower, if you want to kick a bad habit, you have to do it in small steps. And that brings me to a hadith by Imam Ali alayhi salam that talks about this idea that when you want to incorporate a sunnah of us, or you want to remove a bad habit, do it small and consistent and not large and inconsistent. That if you want to cut down smoking, for example, cold turkey is very difficult to do. You cut down bit by bit. Instead of a pack a day, you go half a pack a day. And then you eventually go to 2 a day. And then eventually you have nothing. But if you go cold turkey and you can't do it, then what ends up happening is that you convince yourself, and shaitan then kicks in and says, look, you tried to kick the habit, you can't do it, accept it and enjoy it, man. And now you'll never again try to quit, because initially your quitting method was incorrect. So be realistic in your developing of willpower. The other example I'll give you are these diets that sometimes we're on. You know, we're always in this idea of having a healthy life and having a healthy body, and Islam promotes that, mashallah. Lose weight and you know, but these diets nowadays, Atkins and South Beach and all these fad diets where, you know, you tell yourself that before Ramadan, that's it, no bread, no rice, no oily stuff. For 29 days. That's it, I'm cutting everything out. And you come here and you line up and you get to the table and you see rice and bread and oily stuff. So what do? So then what happens is, again, you tell yourself, look, I tried, I couldn't do it. Hala, enjoy yourself. A big plate of rice, a bigger plate of bread, and lots of oil. What is realistic is to tell yourself, look, 28 days, 29 days of Ramadan, 13 days I won't have rice or bread. Instead of listening to music on my way to school and work every single day, I won't do it in the car. I'll put the radio on, or God forbid, I'll put some qasidas on or some Quran on. But sometimes I think, you know, if you turn it on for the Quran, the radio might explode or something. That's why we have a fear of putting the CD in. But we have to be able to be realistic in this matter. Small steps, but consistent steps in our building of willpower. The third stage and final stage, we have to identify and we have to be able to develop this concept. Look, there are two things I mentioned to all of you. One is this concept of willpower, one is self-discipline. The difference between these two are very important to understand so we can move forward. Willpower is this ability to make a decision, take the appropriate action to make sure that decision is fulfilled. That's willpower. And that's what we're trying to build right now. Self-discipline is this idea of rejecting this idea of instant gratification. We talked about that already. So the next time that you're faced with a shaitanic decision to be where you shouldn't be, or eat what you shouldn't eat, or listen to what you shouldn't listen to, or be with someone you shouldn't be with, stop and ask yourself, is it worth it? I know that in that height of passion, in that height of emotion, it's very difficult. That's why in the first day I said, don't put yourself in that position to begin with. But if you found yourself there, and you're telling yourself, look, I'm outside of a club, but I'm not going to go inside. You're fooling yourself, I'm sorry to say. And for 10 minutes you're outside and you think,